Полска го презема претседавањето со Европската унија во следните 6 месеци. Антонио Кошта порача дека токму Полска е најдобрата приказна за проширувањето. Орбан пак, чиј мандат поточно заврши во декември, не беше ниту пак поканет на церемонијата во Варшава. Сепак, што ќе направи Полска во следните 6 месеци за деблокада на македонските евроинтеграции и дали ќе посредува помеѓу Скопје и Софија? Ambassador, thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me and thank you for visiting me at the embassy.
Poland presented 7 priorities or so-called dimensions during its presidency with EU in the next 6 months. What changes can be expected in the next months, even if we know that now Poland is with Donald Tusk, and who is highly rated by the EU member states, unlike Hungary's Viktor Orban?
I believe that we can expect from the Polish presidency under the Polish leadership, particularly under the leadership of Prime Minister Tusk, seeing more results on the way to achieving our goals, and the goals are aiming at preparing Europe to face the challenges that we have. The program of the Polish presidency is a 50-page long document, and it is made available to the public, so I encourage all viewers to have a look and read the document if they are interested. It's available on poland25.eu, but I think it is crucial at the very beginning to realize at what geopolitical circumstances we have taken over the presidency. Europe, there is a lot of concern and uncertainty in Europe. Europe is confronted with the results of this barbaric aggression of Russia against Ukraine. We need to face a number of different problems like EU economy not being very competitive with the rest of the world, the climate crisis, the immigration waves, and so on and so forth. If you look at the geopolitical situation of Europe, you definitely come to a conclusion that it is not an easy-peasy time for us. And it is the question is how well can we deliver during our presidency. I believe that during the presidency of Poland under the leadership of Donald Tusk, we can deliver.
Poland's focus and motto in the next 6 months is Security Europe. If enlargement is security question, because in the last couple of years the leaders in EU always say that the enlargement is security question, why is not among Poland's priorities?
Oh, it is. Because of the situation I described, security has become priority number 1 for the Polish presidency. And we are talking about security understood very widely. That's why you mentioned these 7 dimensions. External and internal security, that is, we have to take care of the safety of our boundaries and our people, and then followed by information, economic, energy, food, and last but not least, health. However, we have always said, and it was declared by a number of times by high representatives of our government, that EU enlargement is part of building a more secure Europe. Last December, during his visit to Serbia, Donald Tusk declared during a press conference that EU enlargement will be in the center of our attention during our presidency.
You mentioned that there are 50 pages long program. I saw the program. And there were states regarding the enlargement that I will quote it. It says, Poland will strive with progress in the process, at the same time with both the East and the Western Balkans. Now, enlargement, especially with Western Balkans, is mentioned regularly by almost all EU presidency and the member states, but between words and deeds there is one word: action. What concrete steps will Poland do for Western Balkans in the next months?
With regards to the whole region, we are going to urge the new High Representative, Ms. Kaja Kallas, to organize an EU Western Balkans Ministers of Foreign Affairs meeting to maintain intense cooperation with the region, to assess the progress in the accession process, and to advance Serbia-Kosovo normalization. We keep supporting Western Balkan countries, including North Macedonia, through twinning projects. One of such projects is actually kicking off next week here in Skopje. It is run by Polish experts on passenger and goods transportation. Through annual meetings of Enlargement Academy in Warsaw, which are attended by civil servants from all countries of the region. Finally, through bilateral cooperation and exchange of knowledge by experts on EU enlargement process. If North Macedonia puts forward a request for such bilateral exchange of knowledge, we are ready to provide it. It is also worth mentioning that with regards to the growth plan, there is a Polish initiative. We started cooperation with OECD, and Poland commissioned OECD to prepare a convergence scoreboard, economic convergence scoreboard for Western Balkan countries, on the basis of which tailor-made guidelines will be prepared for each Western Balkan country to continue their economic reforms. This scoreboard is going to be published during our presidency. That's not all. While we speak, your Minister for EU integration, Mr. Murtazani, yes, is in Warsaw. Thanks to the efforts of the embassy, he will be having a meeting with our Minister for EU, Mr. Schwabka, tomorrow. He will also meet with other representatives of Polish authorities, including Polish parliamentarians. Just 2 days ago, I received another invitation from Mr. Murtazani to attend a General Affairs Council meeting in Warsaw at the end of February. Besides, we are planning a visit of Macedonian Foreign Minister to Warsaw in the first quarter of this year. And for summer, we are planning a visit of your Speaker of Sobranie to Warsaw, who would be accompanied by Macedonian parliamentarians who are members of the Macedonian-Polish Friendship Group. All these meetings, the main subject of all these meetings will be the EU integration process and the EU enlargement process. So we do remain active in our bilateral cooperation.
Ambassador, but our EU integration process is blocked. What should Skopje expect? What kind of steps, maybe specifically from Poland, to unblock Macedonian EU integration?
You have always had the support of Poland. Poland was and is in favor of North Macedonia's entering the European Union. The deadlock you are referring to is, however, 100% bilateral issue, and it should be solved by the countries involved. What we can do and what we will do is to encourage and use the fora, all international fora, all European Union bodies, to encourage both the countries to reach a compromise. Because without a compromise, it's difficult to imagine a real progress in the issue. So many things were said so far. Now it seems it's time for actions. As they say, actions speak louder than words. So we definitely should expect actions if we want to see the progress in the issue. The impasse, it seems to me, cannot be solved with more trust on both sides, or in other words, more goodwill. As you know, the agreement, good neighbor agreement between Macedonia, North Macedonia and Bulgaria was signed in 2017. Unfortunately, since then, problems and differences have only deepened. So if we want to show progress and have success, we need to make sure that decisions will be taken on both sides, which would allow this. Maybe I can give you an example from the United States, where I used to work for a long time, and I'm very proud that I used to know one of the outstanding Polish Americans, General Ed Rowney, who was the security advisor to 5 American presidents. And when he retired, he wrote a book describing American disarmament negotiations with the Soviet Union. The book was called It Takes Two to Tango. And it seems to me it's so true about your situation now. I mean, the European Union is there to dance you into the Union, but you need to be prepared to join the European Union in this dance. Also, another advice from General Rowney was that when the Soviets came to the negotiation table, they always used to say that everything can be negotiated except our position. So with this kind of approach, you know, it leads to nowhere.
Yes. Can we expect Donald Tusk to mediate between Skopje and Sofia? He's an experienced European politician. He was president of European Council 2019. He was also in EPP, where also GERB and ВМРО ДПМН. There are big chances now for Bulgaria to have new government, political government with GERB. Can we expect Donald Tusk to mediate between Skopje and Sofia?
As I said before, it is the decision of the countries involved if to talk and when to talk. It cannot be imposed on North Macedonia or Bulgaria. However, that does not mean that Warsaw remains passive. As far as I know, our Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, who is responsible for the European policy, is planning to visit Sofia next month, and I'm positive that he will take the occasion to convince the Bulgarian partners to do more in order to reach a compromise that we all need. We simply need to remember that there is this old Latin principle for international law, which reads pacta sunt servanda, and means agreements must be kept. So having that in mind, on the one hand, and looking for some kind of a compromise, we are ready to be at the negotiating table, if only the two sides agree to have talks and move forward.
Political scene in Sofia is very uncertain. We don't know how much will last the political government, or if they're going to be a political government. Do you think that, but we know that the attitude toward Macedonian question from all political parties in Bulgaria is the same. Should the government, Macedonian government, initiate talks, even maybe with technical government, or they should wait for a stable political government in Sofia?
The unstable political situation in Warsaw, in Bulgaria, does not certainly help. It would be much better to have as a partner the government who has the support of the majority of the Bulgarian parliament, and I hope it will happen soon in future and will give you a proper partner. But definitely it doesn't mean that we need to or we can put off the negotiations, talks to a undefined future. I believe it is one of the most important tasks of the North Macedonia's government to start talking with the Bulgarians. And there is a second issue to this. To me, it's a very important issue. It's the reconciliation process. And as a Pole, I know what I'm saying because we have very rich experience ourselves from building a reconciliation process with the Germans over history, over historical issues. And the dispute between North Macedonia and Bulgaria is nothing new. It is something that refers to history and identity and has been going on for many years. So I believe it is crucial to start the reconciliation process. And we can also help with that. In December, there was the 4th edition of a meeting, a special seminar in Warsaw, organized by our ministry in cooperation with the German partners and the Krzyżowa Foundation. And this is a seminar for young leaders from young generation from Western Balkan countries, to share with them our Polish-German reconciliation process experience. The feedback from these leaders from your region is very good, and definitely there will be another edition of that seminar next year. As far as I know, there is even an idea to invite leaders of the Bulgarian young generation for next year edition. So apart from the process of negotiations, the process of reconciliation is very important here, even that we know that it is something that takes time. So you will have to work on this for a longer time.
The position of Macedonian government remains the same, that constitutional changes with delayed effect. How acceptable is this solution?
I know that Prime Minister Mickoski and his government hope that Bulgaria will agree to delayed implementation of the agreement, which in practice means that it will agree for introducing the changes in your constitution, which would add the Bulgarians as the minority to the constitution until the time when you become the EU member, or at least until you start the last chapter of negotiations. Yes. I noticed that many government allies insist that this is possible. The trouble is that so far there are no hints that Sofia or Brussels is willing to change the opposition. The new Commissioner for EU Enlargement, Marta Kos, made it clear when she said she expects you to adopt the changes to the constitution.
Can Macedonian government receive guarantees from European Union that the negotiation process with EU will not be bilateralized in future if the constitutional changes are happening and Bulgaria will not block?
I am aware that there is a pretty serious concern in North Macedonia that even if you introduce the changes to the constitution, it may happen that Bulgaria could raise more requirements in the future. But the truth is also that Sophia repeatedly declared they would not do it. Maybe it is the time for you to say, I'm checking, and simply try to verify it. I can't imagine that anybody can give you guarantees for that.
Yes.
It is simply the question of verifying the words of your Bulgarian partners.
The president of the European Council, Antonio Costa, during the ceremony in Warsaw, said that Poland is the most successful story of the EU enlargement. What kind of experience will you share with us here in Skopje?
These are very nice words of President Costa, and I'm proud that we really can consider ourselves a success story. You know, the book that is lying here on the table is called Poland in the European Union, 20 years that have changed Poland. And it was really so. There was an enormous change in the country since 2004, the time when we entered the European Union. The change was possible, I would say, to two things: reforming the country and building the rule of law by our governments on the one hand, and using the help of the European Union, including financial assistance. Thanks to these things, of course, there are many, many other factors to this, but generally speaking, thanks to these two things, the changes were possible. As a result, now, all the people who come to Poland, whether they are foreign tourists or members of the Polish diaspora who have lived somewhere in the world for many years, when they come to the country now, they are stunned with what they see because of this gigantic change in our country. And again, we are ready to share our experience with every candidate country who would like to follow our path.
Do you think that the country is ready for you on reform level?
You mean North Macedonia?
Yes.
Maybe not 100% ready, because North Macedonia, in the process of the European integration, has encountered several challenges and shortcomings, but you are getting ready. Problems, however, still remain. Issues persist regarding your judiciary system, for example. International reports highlight undue business and political influence on judiciary. Systemic corruption remains a problem in your country. Just yesterday, I attended a meeting with your Minister of Foreign Affairs for European Union ambassadors, and there were different subjects discussed at this, but also we learned that there are opinion polls in North Macedonia which say that corruption is the main concern of the society, of Macedonian society now. Number one concern. The country still faces deep-rooted economic problems after years of bad, negative systems. There are economic problems to take care of. Maybe we should also say the necessity to 100% alignment with regards to human rights with the European Union standards. So addressing these shortcomings and these challenges are still ahead of North Macedonia government, and we know that the gradual development and the growth plan offers pretty big money to candidate countries and to North Macedonia, but in return, so to speak, it expects progress with reforming your country. So this is...
Yes, it's connected.
Yes, it is connected, and this is another task for your government.
Ambassador, my final question is what can be improved in the economic relations between Skopje and Warsaw? Can we, some Polish investments be expected in the country?
I would like to. Of course, I would like to. One of our tasks here is to foster the economic cooperation between North Macedonia and Poland. Our economic presence in North Macedonia is visible, but it's not satisfactory. We have a few Polish companies that are present here, but we would like to encourage more of them to either open branches in Skopje or other Macedonian cities, or at least start cooperation with this. So I'm ready for any initiatives, any B2B projects to support them and make Polish-Macedonian economic cooperation bigger. I think I could say that our political relationships are at a very good level and very high level. I would be very glad if we could raise our economic relations to the same level as political ones.
I hope the same. Ambassador, thank you for your time for us.
My pleasure.
Гледавте Европат, останете со програмата на телевизија 24.